Tell me what you like, cause you know I ain't the place. See, it's been way too long, it's been way too damn long, and I need it, baby. Don't you know I need you, baby? Need that, I ain't seen you in a very long time. I'm about to give you what's exactly on my mind. So come on, baby, hey, I say come on, baby. Kiss me where I like it, and bring me what's mine. I need you closer, closer.
Another episode of Hashtag I'm Just Saying. I'm yours truly, MemeMichelle. Thank you guys so much for tuning in again. If the camera's a little shaky, we trying to get it together, y'all. I love you guys, and thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being my studio audience each and every Saturday. I know you could be any place else, and each and every Saturday you choose to kick it with me, so I thank you. I want you guys to get involved, leave your questions, leave your comments. We're going to try to, and I know she did that on purpose. She's trying to be funny, but you know, whenever that happens, I just know it's going to be a great show. So back to you, Bob. Let's get it started. Welcome to the episode of Hashtag I'm Just Saying. No, I'm just playing. But use your emojis. Ask any question. Ask these guys any questions you want. Today, we don't have a drink of the day. If we just want to talk about it, we're just drinking Simply Lemonade, raspberry lemonade, because these two are like, they're temples. Can you look at them? They're fine. And they don't put anything in their bodies. So I just served them a little lemonade today. So the topic of the day is called the Road to Redemption. And this is why I called it the Road to Redemption. I've been knowing this young man since I was 13 years old. If you notice, he's been on my show several times, but you don't talk about his glory until you know his story. Both of them have served time in the penitentiary. Now, we're going to talk about how you got there, the choices you made, and how you rebounded from that place. So let's talk about the first question. Are y'all both native Houstonians?
No, I'm not. I'm from Chicago originally.
Okay, but you're a Houstonian.
Yeah, I'm born and raised.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't introduce my guest panel. This is Doc. We're going to go with nicknames, and this is Bad Team. And I'm yours truly, MemeMichelle. Now, thank you, Kim.
Kim on point.
Introduce yourself. Like, so you're from Chicago. When did you move to Houston?
I think we moved, my family moved down there, I think it was like 83 maybe, 84.
Did your mom come first, or did you all come together?
Well, actually, it was my mother's husband. He came first,
okay,
set up shop, and then we followed soon after. And I just realized the story. He told me the story. He said he either had a choice to go to San Francisco or come to Houston from Chicago, and he chose Houston, which I'm glad he did.
That's funny, because when my parents moved here, I think this story is it touches me so, because you knew my dad, right? And he made some shaky decisions too, but my parents moved here. He was fresh out the halfway house, and they were talking about either moving here or moving to Atlanta. And that was the time when they were having the Atlanta child murders. And I was like, Mama, I don't want to go to Atlanta. Not thinking they was murdering little boys, but still, I'm a kid. And I'm like, I want to move to Atlanta. So they moved here when I was going to the 5th grade. But I ended up staying with my grandmother and ended up moving here when I was 13. And then once I moved here, that's when I met you.
Right.
So let's talk about you Houstonian straight out there. What side of Houston did you grow up on?
I grew up in Southwest, but I was born and raised in 3rd Ward.
Okay,
and,
okay.
About 4th grade, I ended up moving to Southwest A-Leaf and just kind of grew up there and got my name out there.
That's my next question. When did y'all move to A-Leaf? Did you move to A-Leaf straight moving from Chicago here?
No, we moved over off Fondren in West Belford. And then from there, we
Southwest.
moved to Southwest. Then we moved to A-Leaf.
Yeah. And I think everybody lived on the Southwest side when they first moved here, and then they ended up moving on the West. Because it was like, when we grew up in A-Leaf, and this is why this is so profound, when we grew up in A-Leaf, it wasn't very many of us.
Right.
And I think that's why we were all so close together. But you grew up in a 2-parent household, right?
Right.
Did you grow up in a 2-parent household? Oh,
Stepdad, mother.
Okay. I grew up in a single-parent household, and that's where I want to ask y'all. We had a lot of free time. My mom used to work 3 to 11, 11 to 7, a lot. So everybody hung at our house, and I got into mischief, but not the type of mischief that I believe you got. I could have, but not the type of mischief that you got into. So tell me how things went from being really, really small and minute to really big.
I mean, basically, when I got to A-Leaf, I met a lot of individuals who were from different places.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody that I met was either from California, Detroit, Ohio, Philly, some other Chicago individuals. So we just kind of brought what we were doing there down here.
Ah.
You see what I'm saying? And even yourself from St. Louis, you
right.
used to know how we used to move. It was just like, by not being many of us, you know, we just like clicked up together.
We did. we clicked up together. And I was telling somebody today, you know, my mom worked a lot. So, you know, we pretty much played spades, played dominoes. You know, your little boyfriend came over, your girlfriend came through or whatever. And we might have had a couple of drinks or whatever. We might have smoked a little weed. But I noticed one time where you just disappeared.
Right.
How old were you when that happened?
I think I might have been, we weren't here for probably about a year maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So I probably was 14 or something like that, 15. I was in the boys' home.
And we thought he moved back to Chicago. And all of a sudden, we see him walking down Timewood apartment complex. Like, where you been? And that's when he told us. So did you guys have strong male figures or positive role models in your life to try to tell you, were people trying to talk to you like, man, you going in the wrong direction, you doing the wrong thing?
I'll let him answer that first.
Go ahead.
Like you said, when I moved to A-Leaf, the same thing. Excuse me. It was kind of a young neighborhood as far as blacks is concerned. So all of us were basically doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
When the same thing at that time was wrong. So it wasn't nobody sitting there telling, hey, we don't got no business doing this, we don't got no business doing that. So our influences came from what the guys that were either our age or a little bit older, you know, what they were doing.
No, I'm gonna let me add on to that. Actually, my mother's husband, he was a positive influence, but I just wasn't listening.
Okay.
Because he used to try to tell me some things. He used to try to give me some advice, but I wanted to do my own thing. You know, I just felt like, and I brought that from Chicago because I really never had a lot of supervision.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I was able to do what I wanted to do. So when I came here, it seemed like Houston was just opened up more.
Got you. Do you think, to a certain degree, you guys' parents used to turn a blind eye to the mischief that you was getting into, or you were just that slick with it to where they had no clue?
No, it wasn't no blind eye. They knew I was bad.
So you just saying you were just bad. You
Yeah,
just
I
were
was just
mischievous.
bad. I was just bad.
Mine didn't know.
Okay, I can kind of believe that with your demeanor. I can kind of believe that.
I didn't know at all.
I brought this up to you before Doc got here. Like when we talked about R. Kelly last week, how you can get away with little things, and the more you get away with, the more you do. The more you get away with, the more you do. Then you start to feel like you're invincible. Did you have that type of feeling like, oh, I'm slick, I'm smart, I can outwit the cops, I can outwit my parents, I can outwit anybody?
Yeah, it was that. And the times that I did have to go and do a little time, it was never long enough. Because I had been locked up at age 11 in Chicago. I went in juvenile at age 11 for I was out there bad. Wow, bringing knives to school, burning down houses and everything. So when I came here, I was just still out there. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I never did a bunch of time, 8 months. It was like going on vacation. It wasn't until the last time it knocked the dent in me. So I just said, no, I'll rot in here if I don't change my way of thinking.
Before we get to that, what do you think made you always want to get into stuff? Were you bored, or were you just curious, or the question I said before, did you feel like you were invincible?
I mean, it was probably all those things wrapped up into one.
Okay.
I felt like I was invincible. I felt like I can do what I want. No supervision. Pure pressure. Showing I had to be the leader of the pack and do certain things. Or if I seen somebody do something more than what I did, I had to top him. And it was a competition thing a lot of times.
Never knew that.
Yeah.
Because
You knew Ice, man. You knew Ace.
Everybody.
You knew all of those type of people. So somebody had to be out doing somebody at some point in time.
Because I was going to say that each and every person that hung out in our clique, we were pretty much all natural born leaders.
Yeah.
But do you think there was an insecurity there to make, or like, was there a lack of something to make you guys just keep getting into trouble? Because it's like, you have some kids that just take the straight road. They do their homework. They go to college. They do what they supposed to do. They get their degree.
You see what you're doing with your hand?
Yeah.
They going in the direction. We had abundance of time and lack of direction.
That's the point I'm trying to make. Because if it's anybody, young out there looking, or if you have kids that you're having struggles with, please have them tune in and watch this show, because you don't ever want to end up in a situation that they ended up in. Now, before you got into the big, big, big trouble, you had a record deal, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. We had just signed the record deal. I don't know if you remember, we had just signed with A&R. It was A&R Records, but they had signed MC Breed at the time.
Right.
So we had just signed with them. So that was another thing that, I don't know, we was just, our thinking was kind of warped, because we kept saying, man, we got to live what we rap about. We got to do what we rap about. We gotta live what we rap
thank you,
about.
Jesus.
So we just started getting out there, even though we didn't have to. We already signed the deal, and we was already on our way, but we just had to make it real. Because
real talk, lyrically, you were incredible.
I appreciate that.
You were incredible. And I think that's what's wrong with especially with the music that's out there now. When the music started to evolve when we were teenagers, now the music is talking about, that's why you have so many kids on pills. That's why you have so many kids want to do absolutely nothing, because the music's speaking absolutely nothing. But we were coming up, NWA, they did talk about, F the police and, all the violence and stuff. But they were talking about selling dope and toting guns. And you pretty much thought you had to live that life.
Right.
So, let's get to the meat and potatoes of it, Lord Jesus. Talk about what you got into that changed your life.
Well, I mean,
we'll go with you first.
I think it's just the actual time of being locked up and being by yourself. You got a lot of time to think when you're incarcerated.
Yeah. But what did you go to jail for?
Oh, okay. Well, I went to jail for robbing.
Okay.
We was on the streets robbing. We had a not to glorify, but we had a hell of a team at that time.
You did.
So the day we got knocked down, I remember it was me, my partner Lee, Jay, and Don. And, they split us all up. But me and Lee happened to come together, and I remember asking him, say, man, I know you solid, and you know I'm solid. Who you think gonna fold? I remember he was saying that. He was saying, no, it's not going to be Jay, because Jay has a lot to prove. He just stubborn. He ain't going to do it. Mm-hmm. I said, well, what you think about Bass? And he was like, yeah, that's the one that's probably going to do it. And that's exactly what happened. So I remember in the courtroom when I was going to court and everything, I was going to trial, and they said 30 years. I heard my mom, and she just screamed. She was like, oh, and I had my uncles down from Chicago. They was like, it's going to be all right. I'm here. And that's what really made me feel bad initially. Like, dang, look at my mom. I let her down.
Because you had time after time. What you really don't realize, you was letting her down a lot.
Yeah, I was.
Every time you got in trouble, or every time, something went awry, it was a piece of her heart that was broken. But do you think when you heard 30 years, did it seem surreal to you?
No, I mean,
did you think, okay, I ain't gonna serve 30 years?
No, I did. That's the attitude I had. I'll be out in 2 years. I'm gonna go in here and just do whatever I do. I'm gonna act, but after a while, not gonna lie. I stayed 4 years in the county fighting my case.
Right.
And around that fourth year, I was like, man, I'm going to the penitentiary. I was just thinking to myself. So I remember this day, I was in there with my partner, because now I'm getting nervous. I had never been to the penitentiary. I done been locked up a bunch of times. So I was with my partner named Reggie D, and I was like, man, you know what, man, we both gonna go down here, man. What should we expect? And he said, man, I don't know. I just know how I would deal with myself if I had to go against myself. I'm going to try to do something to myself.
Ooh.
And I said, you know what? That's the attitude I'm going to take. So when I went down there, I just went down there with a different type of attitude. And I had 32 fights. I kept records of my fights, and I ain't lose one.
Now, we're going to come back to you. So tell the people your story. How did you get into a lot of little trouble like he did growing up?
Yeah,
like feeling like, I can get away with it. I can do it. When did something small become really, really big? And your story is different from his.
It is in a sense, but I got into a lot of trouble, man. For like I said, the fights, actually the stuff that they were doing before they went to jail is what kind of influenced us. You know, we were a little bit younger than him, so I hung with I hung with Darren, which was Jay's brother. So I see them all the time. So they had a real powerful influence on the things they did on us. So actually, when they went to jail, it's kind of like we tried to take their spot. Like we wanted, like you said, outdoing each other. Like we wanted somebody doing good, we wanted to outdo that same thing back in the day. So
you didn't see, well, dang, they got in some serious trouble. Maybe I need to change my life. No, you followed in their footsteps like on Scarface or something, like on Godfather.
Almost exactly. Just like
that
exactly
is crazy to me.
It's crazy. It is crazy, but that's just the truth.
Crazy now that you're an adult.
Yeah, as you look back, it sounds real crazy. But like I said, they influence they had from, like you said, they were robbers. We wanted to rob the things they used to bring to the house. We wanted those same things and more. So we continue to do that. Even the rapping they was doing, we had it was Young Money Hustlers. We ended up trying to do Smashfield Hustlers. Trying to imitate them.
Wow. So when you got into serious trouble, tell the people, like when you went to jail, how much time did you serve?
I served 20 years altogether. So, of course, they're gone already by this time. So I went to jail in 95. I got sentenced to 85 years. It is actually for a crime that I didn't even commit. You know, something that the guys that I ran with had committed. You know, I just got blamed because my name kind of rung out there in the streets. When I was growing up, I had built my name up. Thinking that the gang lifestyle is something that I really had enjoyed and really wanted to do. So, they gave me 85 years. The guys actually committed the crime on my 18th birthday, and I was just out celebrating.
Wow. So, I say all that to say, sometimes it's just who you hang with. You are only as good as the people you surround yourself with. Do you agree? And you are only as strong as your weakest link. So if you hang around zeros, even though you a 10, you a 0 too. You can just take that one right on off. You a 0 too. So how many years total did you get and how many years did you serve?
I got the 30 years, like I said, in court. And I served 13 years straight altogether.
Oh, Lord. And during that time, I'll ask him first and then I'll ask you. During that time, when did you start to say, okay, I can't do this again. I can't do this again. When I get out of here, I'm going to have to change my life. When did that sink in?
It was actually, it was another partner. You'll know him if you see him. He was from A-Lee, but he stayed out Broad Forest area. But he had ended up catching a murder case, and he came in. So when we seen him, we was doing music together before we came in. So when we seen each other, man, we was just sitting there and we was like thinking about things we was going to do. And I remember he said, man, we just can't. We got to do this time. We can't let time do us. So let's sign up for college and let's start trying to get some college classes and trying to put some education on because we had both graduated out there.
Okay.
I don't know how, but we did.
Okay.
In the world. But then when we got in there, we started doing the college classes, and I just really think the influence of education really started promoting me to think like, man, I probably can do something better when I come home.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's basically really was the turning point, the beginning of it.
And with you, when did you say, I don't want to get in trouble anymore?
I guess he's the same thing he said. I had brothers that were coming in that were like, they would get major time, even though I had major time. You know, I had 85-year sentence, you know what I'm saying? But I always held on to that hope that one day I was going to go home, despite what it had looked like. But I had other guys that were coming in there. They were wrong. I mean, they were convicted and they done what they had did, and they like man, ain't no going home. I said, man, I can't live like that. I can't live down here. You know, so basically, man, about 8 years into my sentence, I started focusing like, you know, I need to change for the better, make sure I'm doing everything properly and everything. So when I return back to just be better for society, because I did tear up the hood, you know, growing up. So.
Now my question is, when you finally were released, did you still feel like, to a certain degree, that you were not free? Because it's like they strip you from all your rights. You can't vote. You can't, it's hard to find a job. Nobody wants to hire you because you were convicted. And it's like, when you serve your time, that you've paid society for what you've done. So how did you survive that? What were the stepping blocks for you to be, because both of y'all are great. Both of y'all have great testimonies, and I believe y'all can be, just like he influenced you to do bad, with the lives that you guys live now, you can influence somebody to do great, because it's never too late to be great. So coming out, how did you start over?
Well, I'm going to be honest, and I never told you this.
Okay.
But I'm going to tell you some things right now. It was two people that really looked out for me.
Mm-hmm.
Lee looked out for me the whole time I was gone.
Okay.
That's why that's my brother till today.
Amen.
And when I came home, he helped me get on my feet, get me a car and everything. And you was the other person. You don't remember, but you was the individual that helped me get through a situation with my parole officer by giving me a job at your place.
I remember that.
So those are the two people, of course, outside of my family, but I'm talking about two people that really, really helped me get established and get my feet on the ground. It was Lee and it was you. And I'll never forget that, and I always thank you for that too.
We down. But I felt compelled in my heart, because I had a father who served many years in the penitentiary. He was in and out. And if he wasn't in a penitentiary locked up behind a cell, he was in a penitentiary in his mind, because he was an addict. And I remember the last time he went to the penitentiary, I asked him, I said, Daddy, what made you not want to go back? He said, because my body was old, baby. And when I couldn't work in the field, they made me sit on the concrete and pick out the grass between the slabs of the concrete. And I said, what have I done with my life? And he ended up getting out, and he ended up being a welder and doing jobs like that. And I remember you trying to work, but you couldn't work because you had an ankle bracelet on. And nobody wanted to hire you because you had an ankle bracelet on. Yep. And if you didn't work, you couldn't pay your parole officer. And it was like, it was a setup to go back to where you came from. And I didn't want to see you go there.
You got out.
I didn't want to see you go there. And I really couldn't afford you, but I was like, if God bless me, I can bless you.
I remember you was paying me $50. I was like, you don't have to pay. No, I got to give you something.
And I paid you $200 a week.
Yeah,
folding towels and answering my cell phone and talking to me all day and eating lunch with me. Yeah. That's all we did. But I remember the day when, and I really didn't want to talk about this, because what I do from my heart.
Right. Well, I just want to let you know I appreciate it.
I know you do. That's you ain't even got to say it. But the day they took your ankle bracelet off, I said, well, you can go now.
Yeah.
And you went straight from there, and you went on to work at Sam's, and you worked at Sam's for many years. And so tell the people what you do now.
Now I got kind of three things going on. I do deliveries. I also do personal training and tactical training. And then I'm trying to get my clothing line off the ground.
He's the real deal. And I still haven't got my T-shirt, but we ain't talking about that. Now you ain't got a beanie, though. You don't love me that, and it was on my profile page for a couple of days. I was just trying to let you know I still don't have my T-shirt. But got you. Back to you, Bob. So once you got out and you got free, tell the people what you do now. How did you get back on your feet?
Really, I had good support team that I kind of ran into. Just to be honest with you, I was on the monitor too. You was on the GPS one? Mm-hmm. I was on the GPS monitor. It kind of strained you up from your movements and everything, but it did allow you to get a job. So I went to this reentry program. Yeah, I might be familiar with the lady. Her name's Rosie. She on Rosie Ruiz. She just helped with everything from resumes to even my first job. My first job initially was remodeling. So I did that for a while until I plugged into a great church, and a deacon from my church gave me a job, which I have right now, which is a sales rep. You know what I'm saying? So I just drive around to 30, 40 stores every day right now, laid back, and make sales. So just plug it in with the right people.
And you also are over the prison. Well,
Oh, yes, the
you're
prison
part of the
ministry,
prison ministry at your church.
Yes.
Tell the people about that.
Well, I used to watch the volunteers, come visit us in the prison. I got involved with the church real deep while I was locked up. So as I watched them, they took their time because some of the volunteers become my family. Because we lose family, we lose friends, we lose loved ones, everything while you're down there in prison, man. So when they come weekly or monthly, whatever, you get used to seeing them. You kind of have a love for them, and I just wanted to be that for somebody in there.
Amen.
So since I've been out, that's all I go back. I feel like I go back to the units now more than I was when I was in, because I'm there every week and speaking to the guys, trying to encourage them and show them, hey, you can do this here too.
Yeah. I had to tell him when I first seen him too after he came home, I told him I was proud of him. He's a good brother, man. I'm glad he made it through.
I am
really
too,
proud of him.
because getting locked up in the prime of your life when you're just trying to discover who you are, 18 years old, spend 20 years locked up away from family, friends, enemies, everything. Some people get lost. Some people don't make it out. You know what I'm saying? Some people, it's a revolving door for them. It's like they don't know how to live free and they don't want to live locked up. And they can't figure out the penitentiary of their mind. Penitentiary is the new slavery. You making what, 30 cents a day?
We're not even making that.
And
somewhere else in Texas, you ain't making nothing.
Woo.
Work for free.
What advice would you give to a mother or a father or a guardian where they kind of can see their child out of control and they trying to reel them in, and the child or the young adult that you see, they living spiraling out of control? What advice would you give to, hey man, you got to make better choices, better decisions. You don't want to end up where I was, or you got to pay attention to your child? Because I talked to one of my clients today, and her son is a minister. He never has been like any real serious trouble. But she said what she did, she said when he was growing up, his time didn't belong to him. So I made sure that each and every minute of his day was filled with something. So he didn't have time to get involved in things of that nature. So what advice would you give a mother, or especially a single mother who's trying to raise a son?
Well, I would just tell her she would, build up a rapport with him, keep a good relationship and an open line of communication with him, and just it's hard for a single mother to raise a young guy. It's hard. They need some discipline. Yeah. That's another thing that the penitentiary gave me structure and gave me discipline. So because I wasn't trying to work for nobody before I went in.
But sure
working
right.
for free let me know that I can come home and work for some money. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it gave me. So she would. It's hard. I can't really. It's hard. I don't know. That's a hard question. Maybe Doc can answer that.
I look at it like you just said something that was important about
time.
The time.
Yeah.
Communication, something else is what parents need to do. But man, filling their life with time to where they can't go rob like we was robbing, or we go stealing or whatever. Cause we did so much stuff. We had idle time.
Mm-hmm.
We done broke in every house in our neighborhood. We had idle time. We wasn't playing softball, basketball, baseball, anything like that. So we had things to do at that time. Then maybe we wouldn't have, veered towards those things. Right? And I mean, if it's a struggle for them to do it, because those things cost money, then
right.
You still got to try to do it, man, because to keep them away from that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Now, I have another question. It's serious. Serious as cancer. Who can keep the average dancer hyper as a heart attack? Nobody's smiling. No, I was just playing. Do you think going to the penitentiary saved your life?
I most definitely think it saved mine, because I was on the road to destruction. I didn't really think I was going to live past 21, 22. So it saved my life.
You think you would be dead or have a life sentence?
Yeah, I probably would be dead on death row or have a life sentence, because I see my pattern of when
You're
I was
progressing.
doing crimes. It might be stealing the candy bar today. Tomorrow I'm stealing a car. The next day I'm snatching somebody out their car. It just progressed and got greater and greater. So I'd eventually, if God wouldn't have stopped me at that point, I'd eventually been somewhere else. So,
I
it saved my life.
agree. I definitely I say it all the time. That was my salvation. That was saving my life because I see the same thing. I see all the things where we were heading. You know, the things that we were doing. Cause we got real bad. Like after y'all went in, you know, with the things that we were doing, it was elevated. And then you know, since I've been or while I was gone, some of my good friends from Spanky and Mecca, we were talking about Mecca earlier.
Mecca, yeah.
You know, these dudes, Money Clip. You know, these people I
Clip.
ran with every day. So I know if they got killed, and some of them were good guys. You know what I'm saying? If they got killed, I seen that. And when you say about 21, me and Marlon, we didn't see ourselves past 18. The way we was going, and ironically, we went to prison. We both of us went to jail. You know, at 18 basically. You know, so we didn't see past 18 on the cool. You know, that part of us died, and we both were out now and basically being kind of successful in life now. So yeah, that was my saving grace. Definitely going to prison.
If there's somebody out there that's locked up right now, they're serving time right now. Maybe they're in the county or maybe they're in a penitentiary and they have 10 years, 15 years, 20 years to serve, 30 years to serve. What advice would you give them to make it through their stay so they can make it home?
I would just tell them basically to focus on becoming a better them and actually really learning some type of job or trade. Because a lot of individuals go the educational route.
Okay.
You know, it's good to go to college, but coming home is hard to get a job. So college is really not going to help you. I mean, it's going to help you, but not in that sense. You should learn a trade. Because they have automotive trades, and I know brothers who was locked up 10 years home now, very successful mechanics.
Okay.
Right now they have AC and refrigeration. I know brothers who are successful doing that after doing time.
Okay.
So you should try to learn a trade so when you come home you can actually work for yourself. That would be much better. I see that's what works.
I agree. Anything while they down there, do anything. I don't care if OJT and whatever, because you can use. I mean, it's pressure. People pressure washing in there. SSI and there been a janitor. That people starting businesses with those type of things out here. You know, with the things that we did in prison, man. I take anything you can do in there and bring it out here and turn it to some type of job, man. Yeah. So yeah, just any trade, like you said, because it's hard to get a job with the education but you got to trade and get plugged in with somebody, and don't waste your time down there. I don't care what it is
don't waste your time.
Man, do it. I'm hearing about you. I mean, all the martial arts stuff you're doing all around Texas. Everybody knows about that.
Everybody knows.
Inside the prison walls. So you did that. Now look what you're doing with it now. You see what I'm saying? So it's the same thing. You went down there and kind of you been had it. I remember y'all beating us up with the stuff back in the day.
He thought he was a ninja when we was kids.
You know,
we won't talk about that.
So,
Pizza now.
It's a gift now you're using, you know, to provide for you.
Yeah, he stole my candy Halloween. That's him. Do we have any questions or comments? Okay. I want to thank you guys for sharing your story today. I think both of you are great, and I'm proud of the both of you. And you know I love you like cook food, you know, and this is another question I had. As a single black woman dating, was it hard to date once you came home? Because a lot of girls don't want to date people who've been locked up.
I mean, the only thing that made it hard for me is because I guess I was behind the curve on how to approach a woman.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Just like when you was young when you went in.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But I you know, if I seen a woman that had substance or something, it was kind of hard for me to approach it because, you know, I didn't have no swag right there. I got it now.
You got that and a wife now. So congratulations, you made a year.
Yeah, we got a year strong now.
Amen. And you got you a little pretty solid relationship too.
Yeah, I've been on. So I ain't dated but one time since I've been out. And that was with her. You know,
she's beautiful too, y'all.
I was with her before I went in.
Okay.
So she just so happened to be available, but so I don't know much about dating other than what me and her do. But I feel like I feel like I ain't left off. You know, same thing. I learned a lot from y'all guys. You especially Donald told me so a long time ago. I just ran with it when it comes to dealing with women. So just you know, if for the single women, man, just I try to be the example of what to do. So we got a prison, you know, people stereotype us. So when they see me, he was in prison, and they say, and same thing with women. I try to respect women in a way. He's from prison, so the next guy that comes, you know what I'm saying, fresh out of prison, they had that opportunity to, do something good. You know, so I continue to just do what I'm supposed to do right when it comes to dealing with women.
It's funny you say that because a lot of people don't even believe that I was in prison.
Me too.
The way I carry myself. Nobody would never know unless I told them.
Yeah.
You know,
Nobody knows that.
So,
and that's why I have to be honest. I was like, before the show started, I talked to you on the phone, and when you got here, I said, is there anything off limits? Because I know society can be really cruel when you've been locked up, when you've been incarcerated, and you don't get that second chance. They feel like you're damaged goods. It's just like a can of green beans. The green beans still green beans in the inside, even if it's got a little ding in the can. You know what I'm saying? You know, how do people expect America? How do you expect people to not be a menace to society if they can't function in society? You understand what I'm saying? It's like, how can you come home? And I know it's a trust thing with like certain family members and certain friends, because you do dirt and people are like, oh Lord, is he gonna do this? Is he gonna do that? But you gotta give somebody a chance, because if you don't, it's just a revolving door. It's a revolving door. It's not like you guys had drug problems. See, that's a whole different can of worms. You was on the straight and narrow. You just wanted an opportunity. You have to give people an opportunity to be great, so they can, because now you can help somebody that comes up under you. You feel me? You understand what I'm saying? So thank you guys so much. I pray continued success in your lives, and that this is not the end of the road for you. That health and wealth upon all things. You know, y'all both love God, and I just think this is not the end of the road for you. And you've been how long you been home? How many years now?
14.
And 3.5.
And look at God. Look at God. You can't tell me what God won't do. You can't tell me what God can't do. But it's some. I want to learn karate. I want my T-shirt.
I got you.
I don't want to hear that. You've been having me for years, and I ain't got my T-shirt yet.
But you did get the beanie, though.
And I had to fight it because I was going home and it was cold. And he's like, here, take this. I want a sweatshirt or something. You know, I don't want to freak it out. You know, I like to. But he got one of my T-shirts.
Yeah.
He got a hashtag I'm just saying T-shirt.
Yeah, my
get
wife
you one too.
She wears she loves
Well,
it.
she needs to take a picture and post it online.
I got you.
Yeah, do that.
All about support.
You better believe it. We are all brothers and sisters, and we have to stick together. We have to help one another. But I have a PSA, people. Since we're done talking with this topic, have a PSA. If you are in Walmart, because I go to Walmart every Saturday, mostly every Saturday. I usually go to Walmart and Total Wine. I didn't go to Total Wine today because we only had Simply Lemonade. But you cannot expect not to get hit by a car if you're looking down on your phone. Let me tell y'all what happened today. So I'm trying to park. The girl ain't looked up not one time. Ma'am, you're going to get hit by a car. And it might be mine. And you can't hear my car because it's electric and it don't make no noise. Okay, that's one. Two, the same broad that almost got hit by my car almost hit me with her basket because she looking down on her phone and pushing her basket. I start to bump that basket so damn hard. Bingo, look up before you shot. Do a Luby. Look up. Y'all gonna have carpal tunnel syndromes and knots on y'all neck if y'all don't stop getting up out them phones. It's a time and a place for everything. If you want to know how people drive their car, watch how they drive their basket. Watch how they looking at their phone. I'm just saying, hashtag that. Whew. I had to get that off my chest, Lord Jesus. Also, guess what? Next Saturday is the 1-year anniversary to hashtag I'm just saying. We are going to have a blast.
How many shows is that now?
Today is number 46. Next week will be number 47.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's right.
And this is the Valentine's Day episode for next week. So if you want to bring us a bottle of wine while we are taping, feel free to do that. If you want to bring me flowers, feel free. I'm accepting all gifts. Hashtag I'm just saying. But remember to laugh. Remember to love. Remember to be the light. Thank you guys so much for coming through today. And I hope this blesses somebody and helps somebody. And always bear good fruit. This is hashtag I'm just saying. God bless you. 2 fingers.